check out purposelyhere.com, where you will find my self-published book. Purposelyhere.com also has exclusive merchandise for men, women, and kids. Purposelyhere.com is also available on your mobile devices. Stay tuned and enjoy the video. What is up, my YouTube family? It is me, Simitria Beckham, back again with another video, some more helpful content for my potential wives, those that are seeking to be wives. Listen, so today I want to talk about something that's not always easy, but it's necessary if we as women want to step into the position of being a wife according to the word of the Most High. Now, I'm going to be transparent with these lessons, and I had to learn a lot of this stuff myself, okay? They didn't come always as easy and as naturally as I wanted them to come. Nonetheless, I still worked on it, and it became more of second nature to me. So some things I had to unlearn, some things I had to humble myself to receive, and I am still growing daily. But the word gives us the blueprint that we need to be successful in all of these areas. First, let's talk about the foundation of being obedient to the Most High. So before we can even think about being a wife, we have to start with obedience to the Most High Elohim, or who you all still refer to as God. Scripture tells us plainly, if you love me, keep my commandments. And that's in John 14 and 15. How can I claim to love him, but then ignore what he commands me to do as a woman? It doesn't line up. So when I began to truly seek the Most High, I realized I had to stop picking and choosing what parts of the word I wanted to obey. The scripture is total and complete obedience. You don't get a chance to chop it up and say, okay, today, I'm going to be obedient in this area. Today, I'm going to be obedient in this area. But this right here, I don't like it so much. So yeah, not going to be obedient. You got to obey it all. So a wife isn't just a title, as many of you think. It's not just a title you step into because you want the ring. It's a covenant role. And to be trusted with that role, I had to first show the Most High that I was serious about walking in his ways. Now, I know a lot of y'all gonna frown about this one, but it's not to be ignored. And that's submission. And we have to understand that it's not weakness, but it's strength under order. Now, let's talk about submission. Society twists this word to mean oppression or weakness, but that's not biblical submission. Ephesians 5 and 22 says, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto Yahweh, or the Lord. So for me, I never saw submission as a weakness. To me, it's alignment. It means understanding the order the Most High put in place. The Most High is the head. Hamashiach, or who you all call Christ. Hamashiach is the head of man, and man is the head of who? Us, the women. And I want you all to go back on your own accord and all the scriptures that I'm giving you. Go back and read and pray that the Most High provides you with guidance. If you have a strong man in the home, if you have a man that is the leader of your home, if you know someone that's a man, that is very knowledgeable of the scriptures, let them explain these things to you. Because in 1 Corinthians 11 and 3, it does give you the breakdown of the hierarchy when it comes to order. So when I submitted to my husband, I'm not bowing down to be trampled on, because a real man is not going to trample on you. He's not. I'm honoring the word of the Most High. That takes strength, discipline, and trust. And let me say this, submission is not selective. It doesn't mean I submit when I agree and rebel when I don't. It means I trust the Most High enough to honor my husband's role, even when I see things differently. And for many of us, that is a problem. Oh, I feel that he doesn't know what he's doing. I feel like he's misleading me down the wrong path. I feel like his vision doesn't make sense. His direction doesn't make sense. His path doesn't make sense. Why would the Most High tell him to do this? That just doesn't make sense. Well, it's not left up to us to figure out what does or doesn't make sense. It's not left up to us to say what we do or don't agree with. However, very respectfully, you can come to your spouse, you can come to your husband, be like, hey, I know you said X, Y, and Z, but if you don't mind, I wanted to bring this up. And if he's like, okay, yeah, I can see that. I get that point. Then cool. But if he's like, nope, that ain't what it is. Nah, I just need you to pipe on down. Thank you for your input. I appreciate your input, but nah, that's not going to work. And you got the bag back. You may not necessarily agree with it. You may not understand it, but it's your job to support him, listen to him, obey and respect what he says as the husband. And if in fact he's wrong, the Most High will deal with him. But guess what? He'll deal with you graciously too, because you respected order. You hear me? Because you didn't go against order. You didn't go against what the scripture says, and that is to submit to your husband, not with selection, but in all things. We got to learn to submit. Now, here's one that can be very hard for many of us, and that is to walk in a meek and a quiet spirit. Over in 1 Peter 3 and 4, Peter speaks of the ornaments of a meek and a quiet spirit, which is in the sight of Elohim, again, God, as you all may say, of great price. Now, meekness doesn't mean silence or being voiceless. But even when you're not silent, even when you're not voiceless, remember just a couple seconds back, I said respectfully, voicing those things. If he doesn't want to hear it, shh. Be quiet. If it's meant for you to talk about, if it's meant for you to say, eventually you will be allowed to. But if he says, shh, got to be quiet. Okay? It means having a spirit that isn't combative, argumentative, or full of pride. Many of us can get very combative and will argue with a stop sign. We have to let it go. That is not of the Most High. That does not display a meek or a quiet spirit. I'm telling you, I have been there. I have learned. I am learning still. Nothing about Symmetria and what I wake up and do on my own is perfect. It is only because of the Most High that I have gotten to the place that I am, and that I am still constantly self-examining myself to say, okay, that still needs change. Sometimes, girl, you still kind of want to, but you gotta. And then when I catch myself in those situations, in those scenarios, because the Most High will show you, I do my best to come back and be like, you know what? I apologize. I was wrong for that. I should have let it go when you said whatever, or I shouldn't have, you know what I'm saying? That's that pride thing. You got to let go. You got to know when you're wrong and come back and apologize for that fault and that wrong. And that is a lot of our problems. We, as women, we just don't see the fault and the wrong in what we do. We just so often see the fault and the wrong in him, rather than that self-examination piece. And I know I kind of got off a little bit, but it had to be said. So, hey, I said it. So I had to learn this. I was quick with words. I was quick to argue. I was quick to try to prove my point. And like I said, in a lot of those situations, I can say, I probably was right. But the point is, with your husband, that is not the person to try to argue and prove anything with. You know what I'm saying? There's, like I said, there's always a time and a place and a way of presenting it, especially when it's hot and everything is rising. You definitely want to try to de-escalate the situation by just being quiet versus trying to continue to prove your point. So just be quiet. The Most High speak to him. The Most High deal with him. He might even come back and be like, when we was talking about such and such and such and such, what were you trying to say? I want to hear what you were trying to say now. That might even be the time where you say, oh, okay, babe. So this is what I was trying to say. And because you did everything decently, you did it in the right order. The Most High, he'll allow you to when it is time. You feel me? But also know this, the Most High showed me that a soft answer, like I just said, it does turn away wrath. And you can also find that in Proverbs 15, and 1. So, like I said, just softening that thing up, being quiet, don't want to be so argumentative. It'll turn things around. I promise. It took me a while to understand that. It took me a while to see that. But I came to the understanding, and it makes things so much easier, so much more peaceful. You understand? A meek and a quiet spirit doesn't mean you never speak. It means when you do, you speak with wisdom, peace, and respect. That's power under control. Because women, ladies, we hold a lot of power, but our power is just all over the place. We think just because right now I know the answers, I know the way, no, it is to be done with peace and respect. Always, especially when you're dealing with your husband, it is to be done with peace and respect. And to know when to speak is wisdom. Know when to shut up, that is wisdom. So take control of the power that you have and use it wisely. So let's go back. Let's talk about that humility and laying down pride. Philippians 2:3 speaks of that. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. Again, I'm going to say this periodically through the video. Go find your man wherever he is. You all sit down together and let him explain these scriptures to you in more detail. Let that head of your home teach you these things, okay? Find a man, if you don't have one, that is truly knowledgeable in the scriptures, that can break these down and that can talk to you about these scriptures, okay? Because I'm not a teacher of the scriptures. However, I am using these scriptures only to back up and defend what I'm trying to say. So don't misunderstand it. Sister Girl is not sitting up here talking about she's a preacher, she's a prophet, she's a teacher, none of the above. I am a wife and a mother, okay? And I am just trying to help you all become the woman you need to be so that you can be the wife he needs you to be. I'm trying to help you get into position so that you can be the wife. You understand? All right. So I had to understand that the pride that I had in me, it had to die. Okay? I had to admit that I didn't have all the answers. And I still don't have all the answers. That sometimes I was wrong. And like I said, I've had to come back and I've had to apologize because guess what? Sometimes I was wrong. And if you would admit you are more wrong than a lot of the times being right. But you just have to humble yourself and admit that. That's hard, for many of us to do. It is. Because it feels like a shot at our girl ego or something. I don't know, but it needs to be done. Humility is what allows a woman to be taught. Now, we talking about we want this good man. We want a man of God and all of that stuff. But we don't even have a teachable spirit because we don't possess humility. Possessing humility allows us to be taught. It allows us to be taught by our men, by our husbands. It allows us to be taught by other women as well that is walking in truth. And that is teaching you according to what the scripture says. Okay? So not only does it allow us to be taught, it also allows us to be corrected. And from all of that, guess what happens? It allows us to grow. Without humility, marriage becomes a constant battle of egos. Just said it. Here I am, proving it again. No humility, egos. You got to be humble. With humility, it becomes a partnership that flows in peace. And I found this next point, which is, I believe I'm on point 5 at this point. I'm finding this next piece to be probably one of the hardest things for our women to understand. And that is choosing home over the world. Now, let's address this clearly. A righteous woman does not belong to the streets. Okay, that thought. Twerking and shaking. Okay. Instead of being at home with your man. Okay, girls trip. Come on. A righteous woman does not belong to the streets. As a matter of fact, Proverbs 7 warns us about the strange woman who wanders, loud and defiant, whose feet do not stay at home. That is not the picture of a virtuous woman, okay? As women, we're called to be keepers at home, according to Titus 2:5. That doesn't mean you can never work or be productive, but it does mean your first ministry is your household. I have said this so many times. I was like, you know what? Because initially I exclusively stay at home. And then I think sometime, just like most people during the pandemic, one of my sisters, my older sister, was saying, you should try working from home. This was like, 2021, 2022, something like that. And I was like, nah, I just don't feel like I can find a legit work from home job. It's hard to be able to know what's legit and what's not. She was like, just give it a try. So yeah, I started working from home and making a supplemental income and really began to enjoy the fact of being able to bring in additional income to where when I needed to do something, I'm not always like, you know what I'm saying? I had money to be able to do things with for myself or the kids, or maybe kicking a little something, if there's a little something extra needed for groceries or bills or whatever the case might be, it's supplemental. But one thing that I said was, let something go down. This job gonna be the first to go, because guess what? This household, my responsibilities, my duties and obligations to it, guess what? It comes first. Don't nothing come second to home. Don't nothing come second to my children, my husband, my family. No, nothing comes second to it. So you have to understand that your first ministry is your household. Your husband, your children, your home, they come before chasing after worldly attention or running these streets. And that is the problem with too many of you all. You want the glitz and the glamour, but you don't want to lock in to what's important. You don't want to lock in to what keeps you in that position or what even gets you to that position. So this is something that we need to be very aware of. Home always comes first. And let's be 100% real about this. The street life, whether it's partying, chasing men, or living wild, will disqualify you from being seen as a wife material. No man wants to lock it down, hold it down permanently. With a street girl. Do y'all realize y'all street girls are for F-U-N fun? No real guy is gonna be like, unless, as my kids like to say, unless he's a simp. No real man is going to want to lock it down with you. Not for real. He gonna take you, he gonna play around with you. He gonna have fun with you. He might do that for a few years. He might lead your delusional ass and have you thinking. But for real, it's just passing time. Like I said in another video somewhere, like two ships sailing in the night. You fun to him. But trust and believe, when it comes down to a real one, that's the one he's gonna lock down. Not the one that's out there in the club partying, living wild. That disqualifies you. That brings you all the way down. Let me tell you, a wife is set apart, not common. She is trusted, not reckless. She builds her home, not tears it down with her own hands, according to Proverbs 14:1. Y'all need to get into your scripture. I'm telling you, the Bible, the scripture is the front to back blueprint of how to live your life. Period. Especially in this world that we're dealing with today. Get in the book. Take these scriptures and write them down. Pray over them. Learn how to pray. Pray that the Most High reveal and give you understanding so that you can live up to these scriptures and so many more of them as well. Something we definitely need to do is begin to start shifting our perspectives. So when I started this journey, I realized how much my mind had been shaped by culture, music, social media, and even friends. We get so caught up in all those things, and none of those things can save us. I'm telling you. For me, I had to be willing to shift perspectives. Romans 12:2 says, "Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." So many things I had to uncondition from my mind. Things that were purposely told, and then things that I just seen from watching others that were around me. I had to shift the perspective. I had to become unconditioned to the brainwashing of over so many years of my life. And it had to be a willing mind. First, the scripture says first there must be a willing mind. And in that willing mind, I had to shift the perspective of how I seen things. And what that meant, what that looked like was, it meant letting go of what I thought was normal. Like thinking independence meant I never needed a man, or thinking submission was a form of oppression, or thinking that beauty was only outward. And we know as we age, as I've heard many say, when we begin to hit that wall, then what? Then what does your beauty do for you? Oh, let me think. That's when y'all go to run into them plastic surgeons and Dr. Miami them and going out of the country and getting worked on and fixed up. When in actuality, hitting that wall could have been slowed down had you not been in those streets. I mean, I know it hurts, but it's the truth. Let me tell you, the Most High had to rewire my mind so I could see marriage the way that He sees it. A lot of things that I was told was marriage was not. A lot of things that I thought a man or my husband or a husband was supposed to be was not true. I had to know through the word of the Most High and through an awesome teacher. What did I tell y'all? If you got a man in the scriptures, lean on that. Let him teach you. I had to find out through the teaching of the head of our household what a real man was, not just through words read through scripture, but through action as well. Many of the things that I thought, oh, dang, I didn't know. Okay. It's kind of hard to accept and understand because, yeah, I know I'm still living with some sort of brainwash, but come on, I got to uncondition my ways of thinking. Because when you don't uncondition your ways of thinking, you put your relationship at jeopardy. You put at jeopardy losing that man. Do you really want to lose that good thing? I don't think that you do. So let's reframe the way that we think. Let's uncondition our minds from so many ways of thinking and start thinking on a higher level. And that is what the scripture tells us and how the scripture tells us to think and move. And what you all need to understand is continuous growth and learning. Being in a position to be a wife isn't about perfection. It's about progression. Proverbs 31 doesn't describe a lazy or stagnant woman. It describes a woman who rises early, who works with her hands, who grows in wisdom, and who fears the Most High Yahweh. You got to. You got to be that Proverbs 31 woman. And for many of us today, the fact that we have defiled our bodies, our temples so much, and has let so much garbage into us, it makes it very hard for us to be that Proverbs 31 woman. Go read about her. Go read about her. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot change your ways. I'm not saying that the Most High cannot step in, and He will not step in, and He will not wash you, cleanse you, and make you over again. But truly to walk in the ways of that Proverbs 31 woman, you need to stay out these streets and keep these men out your bed. Okay? I had to accept that this journey doesn't stop when you get married. It's a continual process of becoming. There's always another layer of patience, humility, faith, or love to grow in. Okay? It's like doctors, they never stop learning. Teachers never stop learning. This is an always ongoing process. It's an onion that you're constantly peeling the layers on. The layer of patience, the layer of humility, the layer of faith, the layer of love. All that helps you to grow. And the layers continue to peel. And sometimes just when you think you got the patience thing down pat, boom, there you are at another layer of patience. So don't think it just stops at the altar. This thing is ongoing always. And lastly, let me tell you this, the reality of marriage versus the fairy tale. Now, let me be real, because a lot of women need to hear this. Hey, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Listen, all you women want the wedding, the ring, the big house, the government paperwork, the glitz and the glamour, the fairy tale. But you need to wake that ass up, because marriage doesn't always look like that. Hello, is this thing still on? Can you all hear me? It doesn't. Let me tell you, marriage is not just about the ceremony. It's about the covenant. It's not about the perfect Instagram pictures. It's about the mud and the grind that it takes sometimes to keep that marriage going. It's about sticking it out when it gets tough, because I promise you, it will get tough. It won't always be easy. It's about loyalty when the feelings fade. It's about choosing your covenant over comfort, your vows over your emotions. Hello. See, everybody loves the wedding day, the pretty dress, the cute hair, the tons of makeup, the eyelashes, the fingernails, that big old ring that you know that you are about to get. But not everybody is built for the marriage days that follow. The days when bills are due, when arguments come, when you don't feel like talking, when life tests both of you. That's when the true wife shows up. Not in the gown, but in the grit. So, when we talk about being in position to be a wife, it's not just about waiting for a man. It's about preparing yourself for the role the Most High designed. So that is obedience to the Most High, true submission as alignment, not weakness, a meek and quiet spirit that brings peace, humility that kills pride, choosing home over the streets always, shifting your mindset away from the world's lies, committing to continual growth, and rejecting the fairy tale for the real covenant work of marriage. These are not just boxes to check off. They're fruits to be cultivated. And I'll be honest, I'm still learning, still growing. But I am grateful to the Most High Elohim for the wisdom He's given me and the chance to share it with you as well. So ladies, if you desire to be a wife, start with these things. Build them into your spirit. Let the Most High shape you. Have you ever heard back in the day when they say, put me back on the potter's wheel and make me over again? Allow Him to put you back on that pot. He is the potter. And what the scripture say, I am the clay. Let Him put you back on that wheel and make you over, reshape you from here inside all the way down to the ugly toes that you might have. Let Him reshape you. Let Him remake you. Let Him mold you into who He wants you to be, not what the world says that you should be, how the world says that you should look as a wife, but what does the Most High says? Because when the time comes, you won't just be wearing a title. You'll be walking in the position He intended for you to walk in. So, if you like something that was said, if you heard something that makes your ears stand up, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like, make sure you share, and come on back to get you some more content. Because I got a lot. I got plenty. I got so much on the inside that's bubbling up that I want to share with all of you. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to check out my website, purposelyhere.com, where you can find my 2 self-published books and exclusive merchandise as well. All right, so next time, you all be safe. Love you all. Stay out them streets, and peace.